The year is 2002, and you are Bono. And also The Edge as well. You were Bono and The Edge in this scenario. You've just been to see Sam Raimi's Spider-Man in cinemas and feel both inspired by the exactly 2 hours, 1 minute and 12 seconds of pure ecstasy pumped directly into your eye holes, but also a little dejected. You're just a couple of ragtag A-list rock stars. The Venn diagram between you and Spider-Man is 2 very separate circles, and so there's no way of releasing all that webhead-related creative energy. Just then, you overhear the end of an Andrew Lloyd Webber interview. He's pontificating about his endless successes writing and producing shows on the West End and Broadway, and signs off by saying, "I'd like to thank rock musicians for leaving me alone for 25 years. I've had the theatre all to myself." You look at each other, both thinking the same brilliant think. Spider-Man, rock musicians, musicals. Maybe it's about time someone gave Andrew a little competition.
Spectacular, 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 spectacular.
Now, the lads are musicians, not writers or directors, and they need a writer and a director. So they call Julie Taymor writing and directing superstar in the biz. That's short for business, as in musical business, as in musicals, as in the thing they want to make. Try to keep up. And so Taymor gets cracking on the script, while the U2 boys work away on the score. 2 problems. Bono and The Edge were so unfamiliar with Broadway that one of the producers had to force them to watch a bunch of musicals from the last 60 years as homework. The lads thought they were shit.
Why does this exist?
And decided to go their own direction with the music. Here is how that went. So, yeah, kind of middle of the road dad rock. No High School Musical, that's for sure. The lead's got a good voice in him at least. I feel like I know him from somewhere. Reeve Carney, most known for Spider-Man and Turn Off the Dark, and Orpheus in the Tony Award-winning musical Hadestown. What? Taymor has a background in musicals like The Lion King and other ones as well, but not comic books, which are cringe. And while the acrobatics and web-slinging could translate into some sick Cirque du Soleil practical effects type shit, she's feeling less inspired by the general Spider-Man mythos, and decides to go her own direction with the plot. Here's how that went. Act 1. Peter Parker is just your average, ordinary high school nerd. He's in love with Mary Jane Watson. Oh no, she only likes jocks. Oh no, Pete got bit. Oh no, Uncle Ben! Now, here's where things start to fall apart a little bit. While Peter is grieving, Arachne, the Greek goddess of spiders, visits Peter, bestows upon him his crime-fighting spider suit, and convinces him to become the Spider's Man. Okay, that's unique, but the rest of the act is pretty much just the plot of Spider-Man 1. Act 2, Green Goblin is kill, Mary Jane is fuck, and the day is save. Spider-Man retires because crime is solved. Oh no, Arachne wants more Spider-Man. Oh no, she makes a bunch of supervillains to attack New York City. Oh no, she steals a load of shoes for some reason.
Get me the shoes!
Spider-Man punches bad guys and saves the day. But then Arachne kidnaps Mary Jane because she wants to have fuck with Peter instead. And so Peter agrees to marry Arachne to save MJ, but then Arachne just sort of changes her mind and goes away, so it's fine. And then that's the end. Not a dry eye in the house. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, the whole show is narrated by a geek chorus. You know, like a Greek chorus from classical Greek theatre, except geek because it's comic books. Oh, I know, I hate it too. So, at the end of the day, we've got a writer who doesn't like Spider-Man and musicians who don't like musicals writing a musical about Spider-Man. At least all that Cirque du Soleil practical effects type shit will be cool, right? You can't have a show about the web slinger without webs and the slinging upon them. That means lots of machines, cranes, and seamless harnesses used to fling the actors around the gaff. And that shit ain't cheap. Refurbishing the entire Foxwoods Theatre to facilitate all the Spider-Man shit cost the lads well over 8 million beans. And then a further 1.1 million beans per week just to keep it all running. That on top of sets, costumes, rent, wages. They would have to sell out every performance for 5 years just to break even. Thankfully, ya boy, Tony Adams, head producer, was there to put the money down. However, after dozens of accusations from the cast and crew, including physical misconduct, racist remarks, and vicious verbal abuse, he eventually abandoned the production, leaving the project in monetary limbo and many involved emotionally devastated. Nah, none of that's true. Tony Adams is like a widely loved, genuinely kind person by pretty much all accounts, so... He did die of a stroke though. Now everyone is stuck in a production that is both creatively and financially bankrupt. But good news! Iron Man 1 has just come out, and superheroes are in again. So there should be no problem finding someone to finance your superhero musical in this, the golden age of 2008.
The stock market is now down 21%.
We're now down 43%.
Something about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
It was the worst day on Wall Street. Broad-based declines across all of the major technology sectors.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
2-year note yields went from 190 to 166.
Okay. This is fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We'll just take out some loans, small ones, get the show running, start selling tickets and making money. And that's what they did. $20 million worth of small loans later, and Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is ready for previews. Okay, just so you know, previews are kind of like dress rehearsals that the public can come and pay to see for dirt cheap. It's mostly there to gauge audience reactions and make any last minute changes in the 2 to 5 weeks before the show officially opens. Okay, so anyways, Spider-Man was in previews for 8 months. Why? Because it was a fucking death trap. Hold on, we'll get you down. Just a sec. A stage light falls and bonks Arachne on the head. Spider-Man lands lopsidedly, lacerating legs. Oh, that one won't stop spinning. 2 stuntmen collide mid-air at over 60 kilometers per hour. That rope isn't attached to anything. That rope isn't attached to anything. That rope isn't attached to... That last fiend was stunt double Chris Tierney. He fell 30 feet and wound up with a fractured skull, 4 broken ribs, 3 cracked vertebrae, and a punctured lung. But even worse than the egregious lack of regard for human life were the bills. All these selfish workers almost dying was really affecting the show's bottom line. So, to counteract the hospital bills and health and safety fines, they upped the prices of the preview tickets, to which critics began reviewing the unfinished show in protest, and the whole thing just became an international joke. Everyone decides the best thing was to shut it down, rework the stunts, and rewrite the entire show. Greek chorus? Fuck 'em. Julie Taymor? Fuck 'em. Arachne wants to bang Spider-Man? Fuck 'em. Well, not like fuck him. She's cut from the show, I mean. Now the Green Gobbler is the primary antagonist for the whole show. They even wrote a new song for him. It's... Well, it's there. The dude's got a solid evil voice in him at least, I'll give him that. I feel like I recognize him from somewhere. Patrick Page, known for Green Goblin, Turn Off the Dark, and Hades in the Tony Award-winning musical Hadestown. What? At long last, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark 2.0 opens on June 14th, 2011. And the reviews are... sort of okay, actually. In fact, they even got a standing ovation on opening night. But it was too late. By now, people are lining up to see the shit show and are just getting a kind of below average musical. And the show closes 3 years later on January 4th, 2014 at a massive $60 million loss. Just to put that into perspective, the entire cost of making Hamilton was 12.5 million. Hadestown was 11.5 million, and that's apparently just the same fucking show, by the way. Spider-Man cost over $75 million in the end, making it the most expensive Broadway production in history, beating out the second most expensive show, which is Shrek the Musical, bizarrely enough, at $27.6 million. Obviously, these numbers are too large for anyone to reliably calculate, but it's fair to assume that Spider-Man cost roughly 100,000 times more than that. Now, in honor of the performing arts, I shall perform a musical number to some of the names of my Patreons. Melody May, Margaret Finch, Ross Scott, Belandade Lowry, Vicky, Eno, I can never fucking remember how to pronounce it, sorry dude, Traylon Peterson, Timothy Susko, isn't that the guy from Naruto? And a motherfucking Gumbanashu. Thank you so much for helping me not be homeless. And thank you for watching my video, okay, thank you, goodbye!